How's it going, you guys? So I just want to share a couple of points about weight gain with you guys. The most common idea about fat gain and fat loss, body composition, and whatnot has to do with calories in versus calories out. That's everybody's basic understanding of weight gain and weight loss. Now, I'm not saying that that is wrong because the law of thermodynamics is a law, but there are several other factors at play here, okay, that many people don't understand, don't care to research or to look into, or who knows. The first one is that different types of food are more satiating than others, okay? And so you have these hormones in your body, leptin and ghrelin, which control your appetite and your hunger. And certain ways of eating, certain macronutrient ratios, for example, a ketogenic macronutrient ratio, or what is commonly believed to be the ratio. In reality, there is none, besides low carb, of course. But a ketogenic macronutrient ratio will definitely make you less hungry. It will definitely change your appetite to make it easier to eat less calories so that you can lose weight. Also, and that's not the only diet that works. I'm just saying that's one benefit of a ketogenic diet. Also, different types of foods actually have different thermogenic effects. For example, it's commonly accepted that protein actually burns anywhere from 10 to 30% of ingested calories from protein on digestion and absorption alone. So just by eating protein, the act of eating protein, you're actually burning calories. It takes caloric energy to absorb and metabolize this protein. And therefore, protein, while it is only 4 calories per gram of protein, you actually burn up to 30% of those calories metabolizing it. The other thing is different foods and macronutrients as well have different hormonal effects, okay? So for example, everybody knows carbohydrates increase insulin, okay? Now protein increases insulin as well, but not nearly as much as carbohydrate, and it does depend on how much of each macronutrient you eat, and also each macronutrient has there's different types, there's different forms. For example, fats. There's not just one saturated fat. There's palmitic acid, there's stearic acid, there's lauric acid. There's many different types of saturated fats. Same thing with polyunsaturated. You have polyunsaturated omega-6 and polyunsaturated omega-3. Then within that, you have short chain, medium chain, long chain fatty acids. There's a multitude of different types of fatty acids. The same thing goes for different types of proteins. And protein is basically, you can think of it as a name that we use, and what it really just means is it's a bundle of amino acids bound up into large peptides, okay? So it's like a basket full of eggs, and amino acids are individual eggs, and each amino acid has different effects on the body. Some are highly insulinogenic, and some are actually ketogenic, or can be. And of course, they're the building blocks for amino acid, for neurotransmitters, for hormones, for enzymes. And most people are not eating enough protein. They eat the minimum daily intake required for survival, but we're not looking to just avoid death, are we? We're looking for the optimum daily intake, which is much higher than most people eat. Anyway, in regards to body composition, So again, hormonal effects. Okay, so yes, protein increases insulin, but it also increases glucagon. And insulin you can think of as a storage hormone. It's used to shuttle nutrients into cells, and it is also used to shuttle amino acids into muscles, but also to store fat. And just because you're eating carbs doesn't mean you're going to store fat. There's plenty of raw vegans who are extremely malnourished and have zero body fat, looking like they're on the verge of death, okay, with zero muscle mass and zero fat. So it's obvious, I mean, they're eating the most carbs and the lowest protein out of anyone, and they're not gaining fat. So just because you eat carbs or just because you spike insulin every once in a while does not mean you're going to gain fat. But it's chronic hyperinsulinemia that is definitely a problem, and too many people eat too many grams of carbohydrates at one time, too many times throughout the day. Okay, too much carbs at once on too high of a frequency of an occasion, like too often. Anyway, so protein raises glucagon, which actually is an excretion hormone. You can think of it as glucagon. Is a pro-thermogenic. You can think of it as it burns energy, and essentially it's an antagonist of insulin. You can think of it as. So insulin, when insulin is high, you store fat, you store energy, etc. But when glucagon goes up, it actually balances insulin. It actually lowers insulin. So protein does increase insulin, but then it also increases glucagon, which balances the insulin spike. And so you can eat all the protein in the world and you're not going to get diabetic. In fact, if you keep your carbs below 20 grams, you can eat as much protein as you want and you're not going to even get kicked out of ketosis like a lot of ketogenic dieters are thinking. Now here's the thing about fat loss is when you eat predominantly protein, okay, when I say, oh, you can eat as much protein as you want, really try to eat 200 grams of protein from chicken breast. It is not easy to overeat that shit at all. Like, you're going to have a very hard time eating over 2,000 calories worth of protein. Okay? It's damn near impossible. You'd have to actually be forcing yourself to eat that much animal protein in order to stomach it. But carbohydrates, on the other hand, you can eat a shit ton of, okay? You can eat a shit ton of white rice, okay? Or at the very least, sugar, especially sodas. You could drink 3,000 calories worth of sodas in 1 hour, okay? Versus eating white rice versus eating brown rice versus eating chicken breast. Okay, chicken breast is going to be probably the hardest out of all of them. Anyway, okay, so as far as fat loss is concerned, different types of foods have very different effects. Whether, a calorie is a calorie or not, the fact is different foods are going to have different hormonal effects, different appetite suppression or promotion effects. Did I say thermogenesis already? Different thermogenic effects, different hormonal effects. And as far as hormonal effects and their relationship to fat gain, the higher your insulin, the more carbohydrates your body is likely to crave, especially. And also, not to mention, you're going to feel like crap all the time. Like, if you eat a high-protein, low-carb diet with a calorie restriction, you're going to feel much better, no doubt, after you get used to it. It takes a couple weeks. But if you do calorie restriction, you're going to feel like all the other fitness dieters and always feeling lethargic and sick and lose strength. For me, I was eating under 2,000 calories for a long time on a carnivore diet for a while, and I felt absolutely amazing. Of course, I don't do that anymore. I'm eating a very well-balanced plant and animal diet now. Anyway, leave your questions and comments down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.